Have you ever said something in anger, and the moment the words left your mouth, you wished you could pull them back? Maybe it was a message you sent too quickly, a sentence you spoke too sharply, a truth you used like a knife. And even after the argument ended, the words stayed, in their heart and in yours. Many people think words are small, but in Buddhist wisdom, words are not small. Words are actions. They leave footprints in the mind. And sometimes the life we are living now is the echo of words we have repeated for years. Today, let me tell you a quiet story about a man who believed his suffering came from other people, until a monk showed him that his own mouth had become the doorway to his pain.
This is an original retelling inspired by Buddhist wisdom, especially the teaching of mindful speech. It is not a verified historical scripture, but like many Buddhist stories, it points towards something simple, something we can test in our own life. In a small village near the edge of a forest, there lived a man named Dharan. Dharan was not evil. He worked hard. He helped his family. He gave food to neighbors when they were hungry. But he had one weakness. His words were sharp. When he was tired, he complained. When he was afraid, he blamed. When he was hurt, he attacked. And when someone made a mistake, Dharan could not let it pass. His tongue moved faster than his wisdom. At first, people argued with him. Then they avoided him. Then they grew silent around him. And Dharan began to feel something worse than anger. He began to feel alone. One evening, after a painful argument with his son, Dharan walked to a monastery outside the village. He had heard that an old monk lived there, a monk who listened more than he spoke. Dharan found him sweeping dry leaves from the stone path. The old monk looked up gently. Dharan said, "Everyone in my life has changed. My wife is quiet. My son avoids me. My neighbors no longer visit. I have done nothing but speak the truth." The monk did not answer immediately. He continued sweeping. The sound of the broom moved softly against the stone. After a while, the monk invited Dharan to sit beside a small garden. There were two patches of earth. One was filled with weeds and thorns. The other was filled with small white flowers. The monk pointed to the thorny patch and asked Dharan what he saw. Dharan said, "A neglected garden." Then the monk pointed to the flowers. Dharan said, "A cared-for garden." The monk nodded. Then he asked, "Do you think the earth knows the difference between a thorn seed and a flower seed?" Dharan frowned. The monk explained gently, "The earth receives what is planted. The mind is also like this." Dharan became irritated. "I came here because people are unfair to me," he said, "not to learn about plants." The monk smiled softly. Then he asked Dharan to remember the argument with his son. Dharan repeated what had happened. His son had broken a clay water jar. Dharan had shouted that the boy was careless, that he never listened, that he would always bring trouble. As Dharan repeated the words, his voice became quieter. The monk asked him, "When the jar broke, what was broken?" Dharan said, "The jar." The monk asked, "And after your words, what else was broken?" Dharan looked away. The evening wind moved through the trees. For the first time that day, Dharan did not defend himself. He saw his son's face in his mind, not angry, not rebellious, just wounded. The monk did not shame him. He only said, "A broken jar can be replaced, but a word spoken in anger may remain inside a child for many years." Dharan felt his chest tighten. He had gone to the monastery wanting someone to agree with him. Instead, he found a mirror. The monk rose and brought a wooden bowl filled with clear water. He placed it between them. Then he took a small handful of dark soil and dropped it into the bowl. The water became cloudy. The monk said, "This is the mind after harsh speech." Dharan watched the dirt slowly spread. The monk did not stir the water. He did not try to force it clear. he simply waited. After some time, the soil began to settle. The water became clearer again. The monk said, "Silence can help the mind settle. But if you keep throwing soil into the bowl, you cannot blame the water for being muddy." Dharan understood. Every complaint, every insult, every impatient sentence, every time he said, "You always," every time he said, "You never," every time he turned pain into accusation, he was dropping soil into his own mind. He thought his words were only hurting others, but they were also teaching his own heart how to live in anger. Dharan asked the monk, "Then should I say nothing when I am upset?" The monk shook his head. Mindful speech is not silence forever. It is not pretending everything is fine. It is learning to speak from wisdom, not from the wound. The monk gave him a simple practice. Before speaking in anger, ask 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Can it be spoken with kindness? If the answer is no, wait. Breathe. Let the first fire pass. Because the first sentence that anger gives you is rarely the sentence that peace would choose. Dharan returned home that night. His son was sitting near the doorway, repairing a rope handle for another jar. Dharan wanted to speak, but the old habit rose first. "You should have been more careful. You never listen. Do you know how much trouble you cause?" The words came to the edge of his mouth, but this time Dharan saw the bowl of muddy water. He stopped. He breathed. Then he said only, "I was angry earlier. I spoke too harshly." His son looked up, surprised. Dharan continued, "The jar broke, but I should not have broken your heart with my words." The boy did not smile immediately. Wounds do not close just because one apology arrives. But something softened in the room. A door that had been shut opened a little. Maybe your life is not an ancient village. Maybe your anger comes through text messages, emails, meetings, family calls, comments online, or quiet resentment at the dinner table. But the lesson is the same. Your words are not just sounds, they are seeds. When you keep saying, "I am always unlucky," you plant helplessness. When you keep saying, "Nobody understands me," you plant isolation. When you keep saying, "I hate my life," you plant despair. But when you say, "I am hurting, but I can pause," you plant awareness. When you say, "I disagree, but I do not need to attack," you plant dignity. When you say, "I made a mistake, and I can repair it," you plant courage. Changing your words does not mean lying to yourself. It means choosing language that does not deepen the wound. Because every sentence is a small training. You are training your relationships. You are training your nervous system. You are training your future reactions. And slowly, the words you repeat become the house your mind lives in. So today, try this. Before you speak from anger, pause for 1 breath. Not 10 minutes. Not one perfect meditation. Just 1 breath. Ask yourself, what am I about to plant? A thorn? Or a flower? Before you send the message, read it once as if you were the person receiving it. Before you criticize someone, ask if your real need is to be heard, to be respected, or to feel safe. And before you speak to yourself, remember this most of all. The words you use inside your own mind matter too. Do not turn your inner voice into an enemy. A harsh world is painful enough. Your own mind should not become another battlefield. Dharan did not become peaceful in one night. No one does. But each day, he planted fewer thorns. And each day, the garden of his life began to change. Not because everyone around him became perfect, but because he stopped using his words to water his own suffering. So if your heart is heavy today, begin gently. Change 1 sentence. Pause before 1 reaction. Repair 1 wound. Speak 1 word. with kindness. Because when you change your words, you do not only change what others hear, you change what your own heart becomes. If this story brought you peace, subscribe for more calm Buddhist wisdom and life lessons. And in the comments, share one word you want to use more often in your life. Maybe that word is patience, maybe forgiveness, maybe peace.